1971 to 1974. Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler.
Game 563, Indians at Yankees.
Welcome back, baseball fans. 1971-74 Carryover League. Today we have a series between the Indians and the Yankees. We are just beginning the third and final round of the race to the pennant tournament that we do in the just prior to the playoffs in July and August. I think it might be time to take just another quick review of where we are in our overall season here, so everybody's on the same page here. So let me go back to just a general overview of the setup of the league. So before we start our league in March, right? From March to the Major League Baseball All-Star break, from March to middle of July, each team plays 6 series. They're best of 7s, best of 5s, best of 3s, depending on if it's one of the 3 divisional rivals, 2 other league rivals, or an interleague battle. And so all those games are played before the All-Star break. And then we're in the middle of something we call the postseason tournament. I think I'm going to rename this thing the Race to the Pennant, because it has a more snappier name to it. Even if I spell it properly, it does. And that idea is to whittle our teams down to get to the playoff field in the dog days of August. So the first round is up to 7 games. This purpose is to get rid of the 4 fourth place teams. 7 games to distinguish third from fourth and first from second. Then in the second round of this tournament, which we've just finished, it's 5 games, a friendly battle of first place teams for seeding purposes. But then third place teams visit second place teams to eliminate 8 more. And believe it or not, we had 3 of the 8 second place teams were eliminated. We had the Angels out west, we had the Twins in the Midwest, the American League, and we had one of the expansion teams, Arizona, in the National League. So it really did that. The third place teams did a pretty good job there, winning 3 of the 8 series. Which leaves us the 8, that means 16 teams are gone, 16 teams are left. We have a traditional 12-team playoff field. So we're left with 8, 7, 6, and 5. And this is what this round of 3 is about. It's about 8, 7, 6, and 5 and getting down to the final 3 eliminations. And here we are. And the way to look at this is games over 500 each of these clubs are. And this corresponds to the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th best records in their leagues. American League, National League. And you see, we've talked a lot about how the American League is plus 15 in interleague play. You almost see it reflected here, as these teams are 24 over 500 and these teams are 14 over 500. So I mean, you're almost seeing that's the difference of the 2 leagues. Plus the Twins at 3 over 500 have already been eliminated from the American League. They have a better record than Pittsburgh and similar to the Phillies and Cardinals. So normally in this round, 8 and 5 seems like a gimme. It's hard for the 8th best team to catch the 5th best team. 6 and 7 is more of a battle. That's what tradition says. It's the same thing this year. Almost the same calculus. You have the 8th Indians, 2 back of the Yankees with 3 left to get to the playoff wild card. The math suggests winning 2 out of 3 is not going to be good enough. They have to win all 3. So it's an uphill battle for the Indians. National League, it's the same gap. 2 games here. And it's the Pirates. They got to win 3 games against the Astros to go from 8 to 5 or 6. The matchups of 6 and 7, much more competitive, just a game difference or tied. So it's a best of 3. A rubber match in getting either the Expos or Blue Jays or Phillies or Cardinals into the playoffs. One other little nugget is we have to look at the overall standings because there are still 2 divisions undecided. One is this one, the Cubs. They're waiting and watching to see if they can hold on to their division crown. They're going to the playoffs. Cubs are going to the playoffs. Don't know about the Cardinals, don't know about the Pirates. They're going. They might lose the division title if the Cardinals win their series and go 4 over 500. So the Cardinals have the dubious distinction of winning this division or not going to the playoffs altogether. And the Pirates, like I said, they have an uphill climb. If they get that climb, they'd be in a tiebreaker with the Cubs. And if they get that tiebreaker with the Cubs, they have it. So the Cubs really are rooting for the Cardinals and Pirates season to end so they can hold on the division title. And frankly, if it doesn't happen, it's not a big deal for the Cubs because they're playing in the wild card round anyway. It's just a question of home field advantage. You know, it's a best of 5, so either home or away, it's just one fewer game at home. American League East has not been decided yet either. Baltimore just a half a game above the Yankees and a full game above Toronto. There is a scenario where the Yankees knock the Indians out after game 1, and the Blue Jays win the first 2 of those 3 games against the Expos, and you got a mess here. You got a 3-way tie with fantastic 9 over 500 baseball teams. So that is still TBD. To be determined. What we have today is a game 1. That's why I don't have any review of previous games to show you, because it's an elimination game for the Indians. The good news is they had some time off between being swept by the Orioles, so they recharged with Gaylord Perry getting the start in what is a make-or-break start for his Indians, 24-16 with a 1.92 ERA. And the Yankees have to go with their number 2 starter, Peterson, as Mel Stottlemyre and Doc Medich just pitched recently in their series with the Expos. So Fritz Peterson gets the start today for the Yankees. 15-game winner in 71 with 3.05 ERA. Indians at Yankees. Yankees, if they lose this game but still win the series, they can just only be a wild card. They can't win the division. They need to win this game to get into a tie with Baltimore for the division. And then we have to look at tiebreakers. So let's get started from Yankee Stadium. Leading off for Cleveland, it's Belanger, 56, flies to center. Juan Swoboda China, 66, short X. Shortstop is Stick Michael. Actually, they got Gene Alley playing shortstop today. Gene Alley's a little bit better than Stick Michael. He's a 3.26. And he makes the play on the E rating there. And with 2 outs, it's Buddy Bell. 1-7 is a double. Oscar Gamble, 4-4, short X. Again, Stick Michael. And again, out on the X. If you see a parenthesis here, that means the E rating generated that result versus a non-parenthesis, which reflects fielding rating in my chart. So, yeah, the E26 was exactly what Alley's E rating was already in there from a previous game. So, that is the final out of the inning. Bottom of the first for the Yankees. Trying to see if they can get to Gaylord Perry. It'll be Roy White leading off. 111, bounce to short. Horace Clark, 36, flies to right. Bobby Mercer, 1-7. Triple 1-10 double, it's a 2-base hit. And with 2 outs, it's Ron Blumberg. 33, pops to first. Each team strands the double. Ray Fosse, 3-6. Let's take a look at Ray Fosse's card with the Tribe in 71. Ray had 12 homers, about 500 plate appearances, a 276 average. I think he's an all-star in this year and, of course, in 70. Homer, 1-16, and it is gone. And the Indians get the early lead for Gaylord. Chris Chambliss, 57 is a K. Alex Johnson, 5'11. Right X. Right field, you got Mercer. Excellent Yankee outfield defense. You have all 2s and a 2 on the bench, as a matter of fact. Vada Pinson and a 1 in center field. Vada Pinson, 56, flies to left. All right, bottom of 2. It's Elliot Maddox, 2-9, short. Greg Nettles, 69, flies to left. Thurman Munson, 66 for Munson. It's popped it first. All right, top of the third. Eddie Leone. 211 is a walk. Back up top to Belanger. 56 lies to left. Ron Swoboda, 39, another walk. 2 walks. 1 out. Buddy Bell, 110. Let's take a look at Buddy Bell's card. Very young Buddy Bell, 1972. 500 plate appearances on the nose with 9 homers and a .255 batting average. Interesting to play center field and right field in this time. And he's still a 3.13 at third. He'll get much better defensively there. For the Indians and the Rangers in this decade. 110, Buddy Bell. There's a single to left field. Leone could score here. Let's check out the arms. He's a 13. Roy White's got a +2 arm. He's going to take off and try and score with 1 out. And he does on a 9. Swoboda is not good at third on the throw, though. Too slow on reading that one out. Oscar Gamble with 2 on and 1 out. 2-6. That's a base hit to center field. Swoboda, well, he's not going to take on the -3 arm of Maddox. So they are loaded with 1 out, looking for a big hit out of Fossey or Chambliss here. If the base is loaded, a chance to knock out Fritz Peterson. The pitch to Fossey. 1-8 is a pop to third. And with 2 outs, big at bat for future Yankee Chris Chambliss. 66, second X. Second baseman is Horace Clarke, a 3.16. And it's a single dot. He could not get the glove on the ball. Tough break for the Yankee defense. Well, you know, this is why we like to have 1s or 2s at short or second for this particular result. And that's the particular set of circumstances that turns a 2-0 game into a 4-0 game for Gaylord Perry. Now we have something manageable for an Indians upset here. Runners in the corners, 2 outs. Alex Johnson. 2-9, pops to second base. Wow, big fielding blunder by Horace Clarke. Could not get his glove on the ball and just smother it there. And it's a single dot. And now 4-0 Indians. Bottom of the third. It'll be Tom Hutton. 1-8, grounds the second. Gene Tornado Alley has power against righties. 1-9's a walk. Horace Clarke, Roy White. 3-10 flies to right. And here is Horace Clarke. 1-6 is a walk. You have 2 on, 2 outs, and the biggest Yankee of them all in this era, Bobby Mercer. Let's take a look at his card and what a card it is. Almost a no-brainer when I do this. He's going to do something special because Mercer has been super consistent with this 331 card for 4 years. Gone to all available All-Star games, all 4 of them with a 71 card, and hit over 330 in each season. Probably the most consistent card of a. I had Rod Carew hit 250 with a 350 card, but Mercer has been consistent for 4 years. Big moment here. 2 on, 2 outs. Pitch to Bobby Mercer. 6-10 off of Perry's card is a catcher's X. You got Ray Fossey, a 1-11. And that is a foul out. Tough break there for the Yankees. Into the fourth. It'll be Vada Pinson. 1-8. Pops to short. Eddie Leone, 42. Pitcher. And Belanger, fired through an expansion team who got him from the Orioles. 2-10, bounce to short. Bottom of the fourth. Ron Blomberg. 2-8. Let's take a look at the Blomberg card. 71, 322 hitter before there was a DH in the American League, and then eventually he'll put together three more nice neat years in a platoon in the short fence of right field at Yankee Stadium, and he'll rake for this team. 2-8 is a base hit. Elliot Maddox. 36 is a walk. Here come the Yankees. Greg Nettles. 1-7, another walk, and Perry, given a 4-0 lead, is going to blow it here. He's got the bases loaded on single and 2 walks, and the Yankee captain, Thurman Munson. 45 off the Perry card, triple. 1-7, single dot. Has to settle for the single dot and cuts the lead in half. Here come the Yankees, folks. as Gaylord Perry is faltering here in the fourth. Runners in the corners. There's nobody out. They're going to play it back. They still want to get a double play if they can out of Tom Hutton. 59, and that was the wrong call. They got a ground ball C, and the third run scores. Runner moves to second base. So the tie run's now in scoring position because they didn't put the infield up. And now you got Gene Alley at the plate. 1-7 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Roy White. 68 pops to second base. So a 4-3 game. More scoring than I thought there would be with these quality pitchers on the slab today. Top of the 5th, it's Ron Swoboda. 1-3 is hit by the pitch. Buddy Bell, 2 for 2 for the young Cleveland star. 55 flies to left. Oscar Gamble, 1-4 center, and with 2 outs, it'll be Ray Fosse. Had a big homer earlier. 4-4 off of Peterson as catcher's X. This is Munson. He is a 1-7. Good luck with that. He's already, both catchers are 1s. So you're not going to get a lot of pass balls and wild pitches and that sort of thing today. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, bottom of the 5th. It'll be Horace Clarke leading off for the Yankees. 1-6 is a walk. So he's made up for his fielding mistake with getting on base twice, setting the table. Yankees are one of the best on-base percentage teams in baseball. Here's Bobby Mercer. 47 off Perry, single on a 8. Gets it on a 6. It's a base hit. Here come the Yanks again. Ron Bloomberg. 63 off Perry, pitcher X. He's an E8 pitcher. This is a big moment here. It's a 2E8. That's a single dot on the 2-range pitcher. Oh my goodness. Perry, back-to-back, loading the bases with no out innings. In a seemingly hopeless situation. They're going to play it back and see the run. They need a double play. They need to get some outs. Or this is going to just be a blown opportunity for the Indians. Elliot Maddox. 57 is a K. Now you can rethink this. Now, with the tie run at third, you could bring the infield up for going the double play here. They're going to bring the infield up for Greg Nettles. 56, and Greg Nettles hits a sac fly to right field. And it's a moot point. We have a tie game, 4-4, first and second with 2 outs. And it's Munson at the big 2-run single. An inning to go. 6-9, skies the center field. Well, playoff kind of baseball. 2 teams trying to get into the playoffs for Cleveland, trying to win the American League East for the Yankees, and it shows, folks. A 4-4 dogfight. Into the 6th we go with Chris Chambliss. 37's a K. Alex Johnson, 5'11", right X. Right fielder, again, Mercer's a 2E5. Mercer would be in center field, but they have Elliot Maddox. He's a 1E6 in center field. Vada Pinson, 58, pops to third, and a nice little performance here in the middle innings by Fritz Peterson, who struggled early in this game, righting the ship, bottom of the 6th. Speaking of righting the ship, that's what Gaylord needs, is he's put the first 6 men on in the last 2 innings, giving up 4 of them. Tom Hutton will lead off here. 37 flies to right. Gene Tornado Alley. 5'10 is a K. And back up top to Roy White. 2-4 bounces to second, and Gaylord rights his ship. I still expect Perry to go 9 innings. He is the Indians at this point. They have a good bullpen, but unless Perry hits his point of weakness in the 9th inning, he'll pitch the 9th and possibly the 10th if it goes extras. Fritz is a starter 8. Yankees also. These 2 teams have outstanding bullpens, which is not a big compliment to throw around in my league. Is that usually it's hard to find a good bullpen, but you've got 2 excellent bullpens here. Mangori, Romo, Hilgendorf for the big 3 there. Lyle, Fred Bean, and McDaniel, the big 3 there. That'll be Eddie Leone leading off. 35 is a bouncer to short. Belanger, 58, pops to short, and with 2 outs. It is Swoboda, who's walked a couple times. Flies to left. Bottom of the 7th. Stretch time here in Yankees Stadium. We are enjoying the dulcet tones of Paul Desmond's 72 best of. Of course, the Take Fiber. Doing a collection of stuff for the nice New York scene here we have with the Yankees in the early 70s. Before Studio 54 opened up and that sort of thing. And the Bronx Zoo later in the decade when the times will change. Anyway, bottom of the 7th. It'll be Horace Clarke leading off. He's been involved in a lot today. That single in the 3rd, and then he scored the tying run with a walk, his second walk in the 5th inning. He'll take a lot of pitches. Horace Clarke, 4-4 off of Gaylord Perry's card. His homer 1-11, double the rest. He'll take the double. Horace Clarke, now looking like a hero. And once again, Gaylord Perry puts the leadoff guy on. You got Bobby Mercer, 4-10, short X, wrong side of the infield there, Bobby. That's Belanger, a 1-18 shortstop, and that will keep the runner at second base. Ground ball to second would have forced the Indians to bring the infield up, but you got Ron Bloomberg here. 46 off of Perry's card. You can't do a lot when they're off of his own card. Double 108. The RBI single. The Yankees take the 5-4 lead off of Cleveland's best pitcher, who had a 1.92 ERA. If you're wondering about these Yankees, folks, they are a very talented team. I know they don't have a lot of hardware for the early 70s, but they've put together an on-base machine and players who eventually win it all and go to World Series later in the decade. So you already have Roy White in place. You got Nettles here, Munson's here, and Sparky Lyle's closing games out. Doc Medich is here, but you still have great seasons out of Mercer and Bloomberg and Elliot Maddox joining that group. So watch out, folks. Here is Elliot Maddox, 1-6. Let's take a look at the card. So this interesting Elliot Maddox card from 74, top 10 in MVP voting. You can look it up. Not kidding, folks. Top 10. 1 in center field with a -3 arm. That'll help out a whole lot for this club, who notoriously had weak throwing outfielders for some reason. Roy White included in that, Mickey Rivers later on in that, Lou Piniella in that. But anyway, Maddox, a .303 hitter, 1-6, double 1-13. That is a double. And Gaylord Perry, they got the bullpen warming, something I did not think would happen. With second and third and one out, and you got to bring the infield up for Greg Nettles. 3-10, and you brought the infield up for Greg Nettles. Let's show you the card. It's all coming up Yankees today, folks. 71 Nettles. He was still with the Indians. And the Yankees did the dastardly deed of scooping him up sooner than he would have. 28 home runs, a 1 and 310 is ground ball second A+. Instead of scoring 1 run, that'll score 2 runs with the infield up. And Gaylord Perry is fading like the sunset over Lake Erie in Cleveland. That's a shame. Thurman Munson, 47. Single 1-12, gets the 12, and yep, yeah, we're seeing it. That's the look from the dugout, and oh boy, yeah, they're gonna get him out of there. The shortest outing of the year for Gaylord Perry at the worst possible time. Leaves after only an out in the 7th inning in a still winnable 7-4 game with 2 runners on base. They're gonna go to the closer. And they kind of have to. Steve Mingori is going to come in for Cleveland to see if he can get some outs here for the Indians, or their season's going to go down suddenly here. In the 7th inning, Mingori, excellent year for him. 1.42 ERA in 71, 57 innings for the Tribe. Mingori facing Tom Hutton, who'll stick around and play first base against a lefty here. 56 is a strikeout. That's what they needed. And number 9 hitter, Gene Alley. But they cannot get Gene Alley out. 3-6 is a single to left field that will score the 1 run on the Nettles hit and run single. Actually, my bad. I'm sorry about that. They won't score that run. That hit and run single already did plate those runs. Munson's was a single dot, so that just simply loads the bases. And it'll be Roy White. So 3 station-to-station singles after the 2-run single. Or including the 2-run single. It's Roy White, 1-4, flies to left field. They bat around, they do score 3 times, leave them loaded. They got a 7-4 lead. They have Sparky Lyle available. Cleveland has clearly let this thing get away. Now, can they come back and rescue their season here with 6 outs to get? Fritz Peterson gives up a lot of homers against lefties, and the biggest threat of a lefty-lefty homer in this inning is Oscar Gamble. So that's, once we get past Gamble, it should be in good territory for Peterson. In the 8th, Buddy Bell, 56, he flies to center field. And here is Oscar Gamble. 1-7 is a strikeout, and with 2 outs, it's Ray Fosse. He singles. Chambliss does not have power against lefties, unfortunately, so Peters will pitch to him. 48, that's a homer, 1-6, fly ball the rest. It's a fly ball the rest anyway. So interestingly, if it was a 1-6 and he had power, which he doesn't, it would have been a 1-run game. And if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, what a wonderful Christmas it would be. It's going to be a nice, well, sad Christmas in Cleveland. They can do their Christmas shopping as soon as this game's over. 7-4. Bottom of the 8th, Mangori continues against Horace Clarke. 35, pops to third. Bobby Mercer, 5-10 is a walk. Ron Bloomberg, he'll leave. He doesn't hit lefties particularly well. And they'll go Hirschberger for him. 59, second C. And with 2 outs, it's Elliot Maddox. 68, pops to second base. We'll go to the 9th inning, and you know what? We're just going to plug him in here. Sparky Lyle, you don't mess around with this thing. You don't mess around with a chance to tie for the division lead and a possible bye with a number 2 seed of the American League up for grabs as well. My goodness. The Yankees. Sparky Lyle will come in and close this thing out. His first year with New York in 72, 1.92 ERA. Would later win the Cy Young Award in this decade. He'll face Alex Johnson, a lefty replacing a lefty. Alex Johnson, 58, bounces to second X. Here is Horace Clarke. And what comes around, goes around. You see, this was the defense of Horace Clarke that set up these 2 runs here, and now he gets the lead out in the 9th inning. What an interesting story there. Beginning, middle, and end story for Horace Clarke today. Vada Pinson. 45 off Lyle is a double. The Indians are awakened. Eddie Leone, 55. He strikes out. And with 2 outs, it'll be Mark Belanger, or the runner at second. 4-4 off of Lyle. Homer, 1. Fly ball the rest. And it, of course, is the rest on a 6. It settles into the left fielder's glove of Roy White. The Yankees did what they needed to do. They're going to the playoffs. Now it's just a question of where do they go in the playoffs. And the Indians' season is sadly over, as they were unable to beat Baltimore or New York in this tournament after dispatching the Ohio team in their own division, the last place club. We'll look at that path for the Indians. It seemed like the altitude got to the Indians. They had an inflated 1-loss record, and then once the competition got better, it got very difficult. Sparky Lyle does get the save with a hit and a K in the 9th. He leads all of baseball in saves. Fritz Peterson, 8 solid innings, struggled early, hung in there. They could not get that knockout punch. The 4 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Mangori came in, rallied the club, closed out the that inning, giving up just a hit and a K, a hit, a walk, and a K. Not a good day to be Gaylord Perry, and frankly, a lot of these hits were on the Perry card. He certainly was not untouchable on his own card, as he has been prior to this. And that is a sad way for the Indian season end, with their best player on the mound, Gaylord Perry. 1019, 0108. 7-11-4-7. 7-11-4-7. Good news is they will have Gaylord Perry's card a little longer. We'll make another All-Star appearance for the Indians. 1019, 0108, 7-11-4-7. 3464, 6434. So, Cleveland, New York. A one-gamer. That is the dreaded one-game series. A one-game sweep by the Yankees. Plug in the stats here, and then see if we can come up with some more chatter in the overall standings. The Indians will be back. The Indians and the Tigers are set up for success because they're not playing in the American League East. They're in their own division. Sadly, though, you see what happens when they do play against the American League East. Orioles and Yankees, they don't win. But let's start with the Yankees now. 24-15. They are percentage points behind the Orioles, but tied for first with them. Hitting .257 with a .350 ERA. You got 13 saves for Sparky Lyle. You got Stottlemyre 9-2, Peterson 6-4. Great pitching. The power is okay, not great. You got Roy White leading the club still out of the leadoff spot with 7 home runs. That's a shocker. Bobby Mercer is he? That's Maddox. Where is Mercer? Mercer's 55 for 151. Bobby Mercer's hitting .364. Maybe that's why they're doing so well this year. Previously, he only hit .330. So the extra 30 points has mattered. Nice little year out of Elliot Maddox. 43 for 139. .309 year for Elliot Maddox. A seldom heard from player. Good to see his best overall career year is in play and doing fine. Bunch of nice bats on these Yankees, but the pitching has been the highlight. Cleveland was once 18-11, and now I think they're 18-15. Oddly enough, the same record as the Twins, who have already been eliminated. So the Indians played one more game than the Twins, and both teams are done. .267, .413 ERA. Mingori, 7 saves, nice bullpen work. Gaylord Perry can only muster a 6-5 record. And the ERA it's okay. It's not amazing. .324. That's fine, but you expect more. You really do. Power, just not there. Fosse had 5 home runs to lead the club. That's not going to do it when guys like Hank Aaron have 18, 20 home runs. I don't see anybody with 20 RBI. Their all-star was Perry. Right. He was the lone all-star on this team, I think. Or no, Fosse went, I think. But he was 32 for 121. That's not particularly good either. The leading hitter was Chambliss. He was snubbed for the All-Star game because they had a glut of first baseman. He was 41 for 130. 315 for that rookie card of Chris Chambliss. That's pretty good. Overall peek at the standings. And you see now, here are the Indians settling into third place. The Expos will have clinched second place this year, which is great. And then they have a chance. They'll play Toronto for a chance to get that final wild card spot in the American League. The Yankees and the Orioles. This is actually the proper seeding on these two teams that are tied. The Blue Jays, if they win the first 2 games against the Expos, knocking them out, okay? Follow me here. If it's the first 2 games, all these teams are going to the playoffs, plus the other division leaders, Detroit, Chicago, and Oakland. However, all 3 of these teams will be 9 over 500. Toronto and the Yankees will both be 24-15. Baltimore will have percentage points 22-13. The Blue Jays have a tiebreaker against the Orioles. I don't know how the Yankees have a tiebreaker, so this could be a total mess right now in deciding who gets the bye, who gets the number 2 seed of the American League, which of these teams gets it, and then which of these teams has to settle for a road path, winning on the road in the playoffs. That is a big get. I've never seen 3 teams that high up in one division, particularly when the last place club, Boston, they're for a last place team, Boston's fine. They're a very good team, and they won the division recently. Only 5 under 500 compared to these guys, those guys, and these guys. American League East, this is net over 500. The American League is plus 15. It's not coming from there or there. Partially there. It's coming from here. This is where the power is right now. You can see it in Baltimore. You can configure it for the Yankees. The Blue Jays is a complete and total outlier. No clue how all the players in the Blue Jays are overachieving at the same time. And that's what we have. That's it today. Let's break up the New York Yankees for the 1-game sweep of Cleveland, knocking them out, and the Yankees are in the playoffs, possibly as a wild card or division winner in the American League East. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.